I want to start off the stream by saying one simple statement. Tyree Nichols was a man. And for some people, for some very unfortunate individuals in this country, that is a revolutionary statement. Tyree Nichols was a man. And that very simple statement, that is lost on some Americans. That is lost on many people that we call fellow Americans, that we call fellow citizens, people that you are that you have as your neighbors, people that you shop with, people that you send your kids to school with, people that show up in your churches, your mosque, people that you work with. Some of them are even your relatives. Some of them you even go to sleep in the same bed with. There are people out there who live in a completely separate America from what many people, particularly black people, but not just black people, but what others face in this country. There are people out there who will look at the situation with Tyree Nichols, look at George Floyd, look at Breonna Taylor, look at Tamir Rice, look at so many others, and they will say to themselves, there's negotiation that can be done from that standpoint. And to those people, I want to ask you a simple question. What kind of reform, what kind of negotiations would you want to make with Tyree Nichols? What kind of reforms and negotiations do you want to make with George Floyd? How about in Uvalde? What kind of reforms would you like to make there? Right? And there's already people trying to deflect, saying, oh, you can't blame Whitey for this one. I absolutely can. Because, you see, under a system of white supremacy, those black cops were only acting out what white supremacists wanted them to act out. I want you to understand something, right? You don't have a system in which it was built off the very concept of going after people who look just like Tyree Nichols. And then when they do exactly as the system was built to do, then all of a sudden you turn around to the people who might have carried it out, but you understand who's behind the curtain. People are already trying their best to deflect from the system. This is a system of white supremacy. That's why these cops are messed up. That's why they target a black man like this. That's why you don't see them doing this to a white man. You don't. How many videos of white men do you see doing them doing this? Like, you don't really see that. Not saying there aren't white people who are abused by the cops, but let's be honest here. There's levels to this. You can mention Daniel Shaver. I'm pretty sure Daniel Shaver would have picked his demise over Tyree Nichols any day of the week. Or George Floyd. The point is that under a system of white supremacy, the same brutality that you see that you've seen inflicted upon black people is going to be mirrored throughout the entire country. What you justify with one group will eventually be done to you. And this is why people who refuse to see what the true underlying problem is, they are the biggest problem out there. You refuse to call a problem what it is, that's why it continues. You refuse to call it what it is, that's why it continues. And at this point, if I see any silly racist comments, oh, more white people are killed by the cops, if I see any deflecting comments away from the subject at hand, you gotta go. I don't care. Right? I don't care how you feel about it. Wesley, you can hop in. Right? Wesley, hop in. Or don't say anything else in the chat. I enforce bravely.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay, so first, do you understand the subject of this stream?
I just came in, but I get a gist of it.
Right. So why do you think that it's disrespectful to just to bust in and that's the first thing that you say?
Probably not. I mean, you're talking.
No. I didn't ask you what it probably was. Do you, yes or no? Could you see how anyone could interpret that?
So.
You don't
No,
think
I don't.
so?
I take that as
So a
personal
man
feelings.
right now, his family is grieving right now, right? That just
I
happened.
understand that. I would be too.
Right. So why would you not come in and immediately say, you know what, rest in peace, pray for the family? That's the first thing you burst in and say. Do you understand how you being a white man, you do appear white? I'm just gonna tell you, you may not be, but you do appear that way.
Yeah,
Do
right.
you understand how someone could look at you like a racist at this point?
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people who look at me as a racist,
But no,
but I'm not.
that's not what
I'm
I
really
asked
not.
you, sir. You're not following
Yeah, yeah.
simple
I
instructions.
can understand. Are
Sir,
you
I'm
some
going
sort of
to I'm no, no,
teacher,
no,
or
no,
are
no.
you
See,
just
this
like
is my
talking?
show. You're not going to grandstand here. I can mute you. Now, when I ask you a question, you answer the question as asked. So I'm going to ask you again. Do you understand how someone could see you as a racist for busting in and immediately saying what you said without giving any kind of condolences to the family? You immediately come in with combative, silly statements, stuff that you can't prove. Do you understand why that's a problem? I'm going to give you one more opportunity to answer the question. I'm going to unmute you now. Okay? You can speak. You're free to speak.
All righty. So you hold me down and overtalk me for
I'm
15
gonna act.
minutes
I'm gonna ask you,
for me to
sir.
just
It's
ask
my
the question.
platform.
Ask the
It's my
question,
platform.
and
You
I'll
don't. You
answer.
don't. I'm gonna mute you again. I'm
Answer,
gonna ask you the question. You gonna answer the question or not?
ask it, and I'll answer it.
Okay. Do you understand how when you first come in, you give no condolences to the family? You immediately go to riots and burn down buildings. You didn't even give any condolences to the family. You didn't even really know the subject of the stream. I just asked you all these
Let me
questions.
get let me answer the question. I
Do you
give my
understand how someone
condolences
could
to
see
the
you as a
family.
racist now?
I give my condolences to the family, and I do see how somebody would see that. Yes.
So then why?
Okay.
You
Let me answer
understand
the
there's a
question.
reason why there's a history. You sound old enough to know there's a history there. You do understand that, right?
I do. I do. I understand
So
what you're talking about. I get it.
the
But
reactions of burn down cities
from
and
my
that kind of
point of view,
stuff, right?
there's a
That
difference.
is completely justified based on the history that you've seen, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, so tell me, quote me your best MLK quote.
I have a dream.
That's it. Do you know that MLK literally said the only problems with the riots was that they weren't morally correct, not that they weren't effective. You understand that, right? He gave a whole speech about that.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
Yes, I do understand.
do you understand the most peaceful activist that we've ever had? Even he said that sometimes it's necessary.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so if you old enough to understand that, why would you even come in and say that, knowing that nothing has changed since you were a child?
Because what
Mm-hmm.
we see from our side,
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
the burned down buildings and the
Okay.
riots on the streets and
Okay.
all the in your town, not our town. You're burning them
Okay.
down in y'all's
First
town.
off, let me go ahead and tell you. Um, I'm going to state this on my show. We only going to state facts. Now when you state your opinion, label it as such. But when you say burn down cities, first of all, most of the protests weren't riots. Very few of them were actually riots. And then when they actually looked into it, they found out that it wasn't a lot of black people doing it because we're only 13% of the population. So it can't be but so many of us.
Oh,
When
come
they were
on.
actually
Come on,
arresting a
Dave.
lot of these people, in fact, I can show you. When you look at a lot of the mugshots, they were actually white people. So they were Antifa. They were people who were far right agitators like Proud Boys, and they were pretending to be left wing agitators. Some of them, you have footage of cops lining up bricks, pretending to be protesters. All right, you have people on the far right who will say this is like a false flag. That's a freaking false flag. The government set this up and that up. But then I tell you the exact same thing, and you will not accept it because it's someone on the far left claiming it, and that's what makes your side hypocrites. That's why I can't I
Okay.
can't I can't
I
take you
disagree.
seriously.
I disagree
I can't
totally.
take you seriously. I can't because you're not consistent.
Well, it
I'm
doesn't
actually
matter.
consistent.
No, you're not. You are consistent with your hatred.
Hatred
I
of
mean,
what?
you hate to hear the truth. You want to
Okay,
go off and
sir,
examine
you
tangents
coming
and
on my
rabbit
platform
trails.
talking something. I hate here. First of all, don't overtalk me on my platform. I don't like that.
You're over talking me. See, now you make
because it's my platform. You
yeah,
don't you
because
don't
you're
get
mad.
do you understand how that
So
works? When you come into someone
well,
else's home, you don't get okay. Well, here you go. I'm going to meet you again. When you come into someone else's home, you show respect. You don't say someone hates the truth and then you don't back it up with anything else. I've stated nothing but facts so far. You said, well, my side sees riots and protests. First of all, your side doesn't see riots and protests because riots and protests don't happen all that often overall. In 365 days in a year, you may get one riot out of over 300 days in a freaking year. So first of all, that's called an exaggeration. I know it's a kind of big word. So look it up. Look it up. We have Google, we have Yahoo, we have Bing, we have DuckDuckGo. That's called an exaggeration. Okay, the vast majority of protests don't turn into riots. The vast majority. If you're saying that they do, I need you to turn on your camera, turn on the actual flip the flip camera function, and show me on your screen show me all the studies, all the facts that show me that most protests turn into riots. Most of them don't. Because first of all, what you would be suggesting is that there's this crazy rise in violent crime. And we know that since there's been rise in protests since the Million Man March days all the way up to until now, the FBI has been largely reporting a drop in violent crime, unless you think video games cause violence, because within the exact same time frame, right? The exact same time frame, we said that there's actually a drop in violence because video games don't cause violence, and that was the correlation that was actually made, right? So, with that being said, now that I presented facts, you can leave, sir. Take your leave. Take your leave. Because the one thing that I will not tolerate is someone coming on to my platform trying to grandstand with lies. See, that's how it knows that he comes from a certain generation, so he's not used to having a black man, basically tell him no, or to be in a position of power. He's not used to that. You could very quickly tell that. Because he was conceding the facts, because he understands so long as you don't back down, black folks, and so long as you present power, an image of power, they'll back down. They'll try to overtalk you, but so long as you exude your power and you use the tools in which to exert that power, you see how do you see what happens every single time? Even the big bad white supremacists can't stop you. You just got to stand on what you stand on. Stand on your square and don't let nobody knock you off your square. Let's bring somebody else on. Omar Haidar.
What's up, brother? How you
What's
doing?
going on?
All right, man. I want to start by saying assalamu alaikum, which means peace be upon you, because we need peace. And I want to say condolences to the family of the young man that was murdered, in my opinion. And I'm sorry that this is the shape of this country. But I also want to say thank you for your service, because I know you're a service member and you served in the military. And
Thank you.
I want to say, personally, I'm not from America. I wasn't born here. I was born in Iraq, and I know what service members have done for me personally. And I want to thank you for your service.
Oh no, I wasn't in. I was in Afghanistan. I wasn't in Iraq.
Roger that, my brother. I still want to thank you for your service.
Okay.
And I appreciate it. I think that's a very, very, you think for your country, you made the difference regardless. Like for me, it's made a difference. Nevertheless, man, I just want to, I'm 28 years old, and I come from two different cultures, and I understand oppression very well. But I also know that as a young man, I understand I have an opportunity to make a difference, right? And I understand that I'm intelligent enough to understand the situation, as well as that I understand there's a disconnect between the gentleman that was just on live now and person like me. I understand there's a disconnect between that generation and my people like my age who are getting ready to hit the 30s and become adults. In my opinion,
Right.
30 years old is someone like, you know, you get ready to have a family, you get ready to be serious. You know, 20s is usually going through your college phase, whatever. I understand this disconnect. You know what I mean? Like, I understand there is
So,
that. Like,
how do you feel about Tyree Nichols?
I feel like nothing that I'm coming to around to that, but I just know that before I want to get to that, I want to say that I submitted an application into state police, and don't know why I did that. I just kind of did it out of because I just was, I wanted to do something different.
Right.
I'm in a good career, and I wanted to do something different. But let's get back to the Tyree Nichols, and I feel bad because this could be me. It could be you.
Right.
It could be any brother that's like brown or black, right? And it's just like it sucks to be able to see that and not be able to do something about it, right? Like personally.
So how do you feel about the state of policing in general in the U.S.? How do you so let me make the question more direct. Let me put you on
Right.
the hot seat a little bit.
Go ahead.
Say I, as a black person, comes up to you and says, based on the history of policing, I absolutely cannot trust anyone in uniform. How would you respond?
I don't blame you, man. I don't trust anybody in uniform either. Like,
So then why would
but
you want
it's
to be somebody in uniform?
because I want to be the difference.
Oh,
Sometimes I feel like I want to be that guy, but it's not up to me. I feel like I
right.
want to be the example, but it's not up to me. I feel like I could be the guy that does something different because to me, I've already lost a home, man. Like I've lost I've lost growing up in the Middle East. I lost my family. I moved here when I was 15, man. Like I don't know. Like this is the only place I have left. Like I can't. It can't be lost for me. You know what I mean? Like I can't grow through losing another home. I can't grow through having seen my kids lose another home. You know what I mean? Like so, I'm gonna do my best what I can do just to be at home. I feel like just make it
Right.
safe for the people that I love, for my community, for my
Right.
neighbors.
Well, I want to thank you, brother. I want to bring some more people on, but hey, I wish you luck. I would suggest a different career choice. Just be safe, brother, and just be safe out there. All right.
All right, love you, brother. You have a good
Be
one.
safe. Peace.
Yep.
All right. All right. All right. Now, the thing about it is that if someone wants to be a cop, I would suggest that you don't do it. I mean, but I can't tell you how to live your life. I would avoid it. If it's me personally, I would avoid it personally. Now I want to hear from somebody who wants to tell me about how great police officers are and how they're such heroes. Cause see, I've been noticing people haven't been doing that lately. I've been noticing a lot of silence when it comes to this whole hero talk when it comes to police officers. Um, Makalobo, Makalobo, you know your stock account. I these little small accounts, these are bigger creators who are just hiding behind small accounts so that they can't just be banned from your stream. You know, that's the whole point. So, Darlene, you've been talking a lot in my chat. I need you to turn on your guest invites, hop into the guest box, or I don't want you to see you typing anything else in the chat, Darlene. I mean that. No more. No more. You can hop into the guest box. No more speaking. No more speaky until you hop into the guest box. Cause I don't want to hear no more keyboard warriordom. You have more than enough followers. Hop into the guest box. Let's have a conversation. I've never been on live. Well, you can turn on the live guest. I don't want to see any more comments from you. Because if you don't understand how to go live, that means that you don't understand anything about TikTok, and I don't even understand why you're even here then. Okay? So no, we're not doing that. We're not playing those little silly games where people just, they suddenly find their bravery when they're in the comment section, but then when you want to confront them live, all of a sudden it's oh, I'm having technical difficulties. I'm at work. You at work and you on TikTok. Man, if I was your boss, you'd be fired. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna let you be at work and on TikTok and I'm your boss. Whatever. You got nerve to want to talk about black people, talking about how we don't want to work, but you on TikTok. That doggone work. I don't want to see nothing else from Darlene in the peanut gallery. All right. So, with that being said, I want to have a conversation about Tyree Nichols tonight, though. right? What we know about the situation so far is that he was pulled over for a supposed traffic stop violation. Could be for reckless driving. Could have been for a number of things. We don't know yet. We don't know the full scale. But here's what we know thus far. What we know thus far is that he was pulled over and approached by 5 officers. There was a 6th officer there, allegedly a white officer. We don't know that yet. We're just saying that's what we're hearing so far. And these officers immediately go to detain him. And it didn't look like detaining. It looked like a full-on assault. And they continued this assault for quite some time. My wife is a court reporter. I said this in videos before. My wife is a court reporter, and she transcribes medical malpractice suits. She transcribes a lot of criminal stuff, a lot of stuff, right? She said, I can't read this anymore when she was reading a news article. I'm talking about this is days before the video that we saw today, days before it was released. She said, I can't read this anymore. She couldn't read it anymore. A person who transcribes this stuff all day, every day. Do you understand how bad that is? That the little description of it from somebody who's a legal professional, who has a whole business doing this every day, all day, couldn't read the description of it. Couldn't read it. See, I want to have a conversation with the family here. I want to have a conversation with every black person out there. I want to have a conversation with everybody out there who can hear me. I want you to share this stream because I want people to hear me when I say this. People are going to be quick to point things out. I want you to understand how impactful that video is. It's a shame that it exists, but you understand what that does. It removes the ability for the dominant white society to just plug in a black person into a position, to a sheriff or a make sure you guys are tapping the stream. Make sure you guys are leaving comments. Make sure you get this boosted up. I want everybody to hear this. The thing about it is that video removes the ability for U.S. law enforcement and a dominant white society to just plug in a sheriff, plug in a police chief, plug in somebody into a place and say, hey, right? The person's black. Barack Obama was also black, but he was drone striking black and brown countries, right? Especially the black ones. Barack Obama was black, but we were sure kicking out Haitians just like Joe Biden is right now, right? A lot of people were black. Danielle Outlaw, who used to be the Portland Police Bureau chief, she gets removed because the Portland police are so brutal. Then she goes over to Philadelphia and becomes the commissioner there. Well, the Philly PD are known to be brutal, so she simply exported her abuse. And she black. Went to the same school as my wife. And she black. Let me tell you something. I come from the state of South Carolina. The 13th sheriff who was convicted of crimes there, 13th sheriff in that state, was Alex Underwood. Alex Underwood was caught with a false arrest, embezzlement, whereas he was taking tax dollars, paying his sheriff's deputies to build him a barnyard with taxpayer dollars. Taxpayer dollars. He was the 13th sheriff since 2010 in the state of South Carolina, convicted of crimes. And that's just the sheriffs. That's the state that I come from. That's why I became a ACAB devil. That's why I do what I do, because, good Lord, if you came from that state, how in the world could you not become me? How in the world could you not become me? You wouldn't have a choice. I work law enforcement. I know how crooked they are. Ain't none of them good. The only ones who are good are the ones who quit. Like me. The only ones who are good are the whistleblowers who got retaliated against, like Chris Dorner. Or Javier Javier Esqueda. Javier Esqueda, there was a black man named Eric Lurie. He was assaulted by police officers, and police lied about what happened to Eric Lurie. And Javier Esqueda was a sergeant with the Joliet Police Department, I remember that. Joliet Police Department. And he came forward about what actually happened to Eric Lurie. Do you know what they did to Javier Escueda? They took out criminal charges on this man for official misconduct because he came forward with the crimes. He came forward with the news footage. Another person, Louisiana State Trooper Carl Cavalier. Carl Cavalier told the truth about what happened to Ronald Green. Louisiana State Patrol assaulted Ronald Green, and that's what happened to Ronald Green. That's why Ronald Green is no longer with us. He came forward with that, and they fired him. They punished him. It is just, when you see retaliation. Another one, Stephen Mater. Stephen Mater is being represented by the ACLU because he came forward about misconduct and he got punished. There's a former officer from Georgia who follows me right now on TikTok, and I follow him. His name is Officer Ash. Officer Ash. And he's from Georgia. He told the truth about his sergeant and some of his cops there and his higher ups engaging in misconduct, including the DUI that they were trying to cover up. And do you know what they did to this good officer? They fired him immediately. He became a celebrity because of retaliation. And guess what? You think he's black? No, he's a white guy. Oh. So the plot thickens. Javier Escueda, Carl Cavalier, black guy. Stephen Mater, white. Officer Ash, white. See, it doesn't really matter what color the officer is. We all seem to be nosing the same pattern. They're all crooked. There isn't a single good cop out there. You want to know how I know this? It's because you either engage in the crimes or you cover it up. See, that's the whole system. See, it goes back to what a wise man once said. It's not the money. It's the culture. It's the culture of policing. It's not about who you plug into a role if the role is designed to do a thing. See, it doesn't matter if you plug in, a basketball player as a linebacker if they're not suited for that role. They're suited for the game that's being played. It don't matter how they look. It don't matter how tall they are. It don't matter how smart they are. It doesn't matter how much intelligence they lack. It doesn't matter about their ethics or lack thereof. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter their cultural background. It doesn't matter their religion. It doesn't matter anything. None of that matters. Sexuality, LGBT status, or lack thereof. Doesn't matter. What matters in the end is that the game that's being played, that is how people are going to play it. The game that's being played is, first off, a lot of these stops, just like with Tyre Nichols, are pretextual stops. Do you understand what a pretextual stop is? Someone's pulling you over to find something. Oh, I don't have any proof or anything, so let me go ahead and look. Well, yeah, if you check in the average car around America, you're going to find something illegal, because I guarantee you right now, if you understand anything about federal regulations, if you understand anything about all your state and local laws, all the local penal codes, you're violating laws every second of the day. Every second of the day. That's the thing you gotta understand. So the government has basically said, okay, even if we don't see you doing anything wrong, we're gonna have our race soldiers check like you're a child. So we can't trust you to ride in the vehicle that you pay taxes on, that you purchase legally, that you pay property taxes on every single month or every single year, as if there's some kind of messed up Netflix subscription fee. Not only do you got to pay for the driver's license, not only do you got to pay for the roads that the government doesn't even maintain, but now you have race soldiers who can just pull you over, and then not only that, they can take your money with silver forfeiture. Can take your money. Even though you haven't committed a crime, they can say, oh, you had a large amount of cash on you. Well, that could be used in the commission of a crime. Well, anything could be used in the commission of a freaking crime. Suppose I'm going to rob a freaking bank. I wouldn't have money, but by the time I finish robbing that bank, I will. The concept of just pulling somebody over, even though you don't have evidence of anything that they've done wrong, that is the very concept of oppression. And it's mostly employed upon black people. You want to know why it's employed? It is employed upon black people? No, not every police officer out there is a racist. However, it is much easier to just pull over a black person when you need to fill your quota. It's much easier because black people, unfortunately, many of them belong to a circuit to a certain economic bracket. That's why we need reparations. This is why we need tangibles, right? Because when you belong to a certain economic bracket, what happens is that it makes you an easier target for the police. It's just like, for example, the same concept. Suppose, for example, you know, suppose for a second you go to McDonald's and then Bill Gates goes to McDonald's. Suppose they mess up both y'all burgers. Who do you think they're going to fix the fastest? Bill Gates, because Bill Gates is Bill Gates and you're not. See how that works? A very simple analogy. A very simple analogy. So now that you understand we don't have tangibles, and the cops know that. They also know that when you say I'm going to call my lawyer, you're from the black community. We ain't paid you reparations yet. We know that, right? So with that being said, I mean, I have to really drill this home. This idea that just putting a black person into a position that is not only foolish if you're expecting meaningful change, but is designed to be the exact opposite. It is a diversity quota hire. It is a check mark. It's like playing life like an RPG character. You're just matching up Pokemon types at that point. Oh, well, we know we got problems with women, so we're gonna just hire a random woman. Does that woman have problems with women too? Well, if it's a woman, it's gotta be better. Well, there's a lot of women who are anti-woman. Well, but it's gotta be better. And just that quickly, the average woman, the average white woman listening to this, right, can't understand what I'm saying, because every white woman has seen another woman, even a white woman, who will do anything in her power to tear down another woman just because it's another woman. Every woman out there has seen that, right? So now that you understand that, right, why do you think the same thing doesn't happen with black people? That because of the system of white supremacy that you have placed black people under, the same way that you get black immigrants in Washington State, in Renton, over in Washington State, targeting black people, saying, I don't like black people. That's not something that he was born as, because he wouldn't dislike the mirror, right? That was something that was taught to him. Same way as you got people in the Caribbean using bleach, put it on the doggone skin. That's taught to them. It's not a naturally occurring thing. You didn't see early men doing that kind of stuff. That was taught to them. So when you see police officers going around doing to Tyree Nichols and to others what we've seen so many of them do, right? When we see this stuff, right, it shows me something. It shows me that they were taught to do that. And no one stopped them and said to themselves, this teaching, what we're teaching, is hurting people. No one stopped them, because it didn't matter who you hurt if that was the intended target. I want you to know is that when it comes to militarized police, the most militarized police in the world right now is us. And look at the neighborhoods where they put all that stuff at. They don't put it in rich white neighborhoods. They put it in poor black neighborhoods. And that's for a reason. If you want to test your new military gear, your new toys, in a practical way, same way as if you were targeting a black person when you got to meet a quota. Same way you were targeting a black person when you got to put a case on somebody so that you could justify more federal dollars. Do you know that based on the kind of crimes that they arrest people for, or put people in jail for, or get convictions for, they get more federal dollars? And in some cases, it doesn't matter if you even get a conviction. It just matters if you just arrest someone. Now that's the issue that wouldn't necessarily affect somebody based on race, but we know how it's typically employed. But me just saying that issue, you would think a white person would definitely be interested, but you can't get them interested because there is a significant amount of white people in this country who can't recognize, right, that everything you justify using against us will be used against you. I mean, just look at gun control, right? The first instance of gun control was racist. It had more white people resisted and went against Ronald and actually went against Ronald Reagan. That would have happened. But you can't tell nobody nothing, right? It's prolific goals. Let's bring him on. Prolific goals. Let's see if prolific goals want to come on. I try to bring you on, prolific goals. You connecting? It's slowly connecting. But the thing about it is that I want people to understand what's happening in this country. What's going to happen in this country. That video is going to change everything. Unfortunately, it takes videos like that. It took a Rodney King. It took a George Floyd. It took a lot of that stuff. It's going to change some things. It's going to definitely not allow the dominant white society to just plug in a black person into a role and says, hey, I look just like you. Listen, I'm black, and there's some black people that I don't trust, that I don't think should be cops. In fact, to be honest, I don't even like cops, to be honest with you. But there's a lot of black people I wouldn't trust to be a dog catcher. Much less, much less walk around my neighborhood with a gun. So why in the world do you think that you necessarily just putting a black person in a role is going to satiate me in terms of my hunger for justice? Why do you think that? Do you think that if everybody who answered the phone from Comcast customer service were a black person, that I'm going to suddenly change my opinion about Comcast customer service? I mean, most people that I see at DMV are black, and my opinion of the DMV is awfully low. I gotta be honest with you. I just gotta keep it buck with you. I mean, I gotta be honest with you, right? So I don't understand how you think putting a black person as a police chief or a sheriff or anything else is gonna suddenly change my opinion of them. It just won't. It just won't. And prolific goals, you gotta come on now. Let's see. Let's bring somebody else on. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good morning, man.
Good morning. Good
Hey,
morning.
I know you're feeling it, man, and things are happening. I don't appreciate it myself. It's just so horrific that things like this can happen in this time as we, went through so much throughout our life, with it's like a repeating process of what happened in the 60s. They're making it like an okay thing to do. It's like mobster, it's straight up mobster. And scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, they executed that boy. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you look at it like that, and nobody's taking attention, and you know what we got out here, to see something like that happen on a regular, that ain't gonna go down. That's not gonna take place all over, because I don't think anybody's gonna really tolerate that to a scale of portion where they feel it's necessary to intimidate people that don't care for the intimidation, but they stand up for their right as a person. Forget about the law, as a person.
Yeah.
Toe to toe, you just like me. But I'm gonna tell you, your personality can affect a whole lot of things. And if you haven't learned anything, you need to reevaluate your whole situation, because people love people in depth. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people snap. That's why they have all these different agencies, psychologists,
Hmm.
sociologists, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They have programs for these ordeals, these matters. If a enforcement officer feel like he's getting off the handle, he should handle his business and speak to a psychologist. That's why they have these things to
Right.
reevaluate his next step, because you know it's just like the Bible says. If you think of a thing, that's the thing that you're tempted to do. You know what I'm saying? It can
Yep.
be a simple thing if it's negative. And if it's that harsh of a situation that it lays on your heart to hurt somebody for no cause, for a mere ticket, a light infraction, a red light, you know, argument at the store, if it hurts a person to that point where they cannot stress the fact that this is somebody else's love and life that about to affect, and not think of their own, then there's something troubling them. You understand? Because we're
Yeah.
dealing with human life now. And if you can't respect the fact that this can happen to yours, why would you do it to mine? Don't do it to mine. You know what I'm saying? But see, they haven't reached the point where they feel that that's affecting us, where it's penetrating our thoughts, to recognize and realize the emotional effect that people are not lashing out the way they expect us to
Right.
on the masses like this that has been going on for a long time. But it's going to come a point where they're going to push a situation in the wrong direction. And that's what happens in life when you do things, because everybody can't tolerate certain feelings and emotions. We are all different. And no one can base the whole world on one person's effect on life. But when it starts becoming copycats in a sort of a massive change, you do this, I'm gonna do that, piggybacking on some nonsense that's going on now because everybody's being affected by it, then you cause a melee of problems all over the world. You know, it's like a virus. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's
Man, people start getting poppy, man. They'll start jumping. They already doing it. They breaking in stores. They taking. Imagine that every day. You can't control. Cops can't control everywhere. Come on. They want it to get like that because it will get like that if they keep on affecting it the way they doing. It can't happen. They got to stop. We got to evaluate the situation differently. We got to change the whole political party in it and order the courts. I mean, what difference is it for me to go in somebody's house and kill them and not get the death penalty? But you're an enforcer and you're supposed to enforce the law, but you're out there killing somebody. You should get the death penalty too, because you invaded somebody's space in the wrong way.
right.
You did something wrong to somebody else's life and their family's life. You know what I'm saying? And there was no cause for it. So you murdered somebody with
Right.
not just cause. And you should be penalized like anybody on the highest court. You should be affected just like you done broken that person's house and killed them.
Right.
That's how they should be evaluated.
Right.
Because if
Right.
it's not, then you're contradicting the whole judgment statement on law and order and justice.
Yep. That is true, brother. I'm gonna ask you a question though.
Yeah.
Do you find it strange, that some people don't recognize that when a police officer harms someone, that person passes away, and that police officer goes over to another department and they do it again, that essentially, if we just simply change the definition of the word police officer and you didn't have the hero status that police officers had, we would view them as a copycat
Well,
because that's literally what they are.
I know they copycats and
Yeah.
everything above, but it's a situation that people are being deceived. It's delusional. Their mind, their motto, their offspring is a delusional situation that they want us to be affected by. That we can do what we want to do to you, no matter what. And
No,
we're
I
not
don't
going to
think
say
that's going to
nothing. And
happen
we're
in
not
too
going to
much
say
longer.
nothing. And we're
Oh
not going to
no,
say
I
nothing.
don't think because I know right
We're not going to
now.
say nothing. No,
I know
we're
right
going to just
now.
let them beat the hell out of us for a lifetime.
No, I know
Right.
right now. The night is still young, man. Cats ain't going to just take that, and I think what's going to happen is, they're going to find out that yeah, the reaction hasn't been as big as they thought, but I don't think they realize how much this changes how we view policing. I don't think they realize the deep cultural impact that happened here, that need to happen. Unfortunately,
Well, I tell you, man,
I'd recommend.
back
I'm going to
back
say it, I
back to
recommend every black person. Listen, body armor is cheap. Power tools are cheap. I carry mine every day. I got mine on right now,
mm,
and so I'm gonna let. I already put it out to law enforcement. I don't like you. You ever come to my place? I want you to understand. I'm not trying to get all of you. I only want one.
no, you don't
So
have to
just
do that. 'Cause
no, we
that's
ain't got to do all that. But
that's
I
not
got
the
to let
angle.
them know.
That's
I got
not
to
the
let them
angle.
know that if you take that
That's,
risk,
that's your
you got
statement.
to pick one person that's gonna not come back with you because I'm too
That's
well
your
trained.
that's your. You know what? If the bear comes at you, you know what to do.
Yep,
I'm just
make
saying
bacon.
to you, there's a better way to preserve the quality of life when you want to justify the matter and the cause. The reason and the outcome of the situation needs to be uh, dissolved. You know what I'm saying? You want to prospect in this the remaining of your life and show somebody that
Right.
it didn't have to happen in a way that would absence your living. You want to live and die peacefully, but
Yeah,
you want to get
that is
caught up.
true.
You don't want to
I
get
do want to
caught
live,
up in.
but the cops have to also want to live too. That's why you don't come for me. You don't come for somebody who spent 4.5 years in combat. Because if you do that, I guarantee you, I'm going to get one of them. I give you my word. I don't want all of them. I just want one, and that will satiate all my rage and all my anger. Just one.
I
Just
tell
one.
you, they're a mighty force.
That's fine.
They're
They can be mighty. They can take me out too.
a mighty
But if I
force.
can't get one of them, I'll go after one of their family members. I
I
don't care
just, I
anymore.
just, I just
I
think
don't
that
care
everybody.
about. Listen, I don't care about peace anymore. I don't care about that. I do not care. You want to know why? Because as peaceful as MLK was, where is he at right now?
You right. You're absolutely right.
So
I
it
can't
so
argue
so
with
so what I'm saying is it doesn't matter how I approach it if the results are
you.
going to be the same.
Absolutely.
So the common denominator is they gotta change, not me. Because if they come at me even once, I'm gonna get one. I promise you that.
Mm.
I have too many confirmed ones in combat to not get one. I've done it too easy.
Well, I tell you, listen here. I came up in New York City, in the South Bronx. Let me tell you something. There was deaths every day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had
And let them
all
come
the
for me, and
gangs.
they're gonna be
You
one
know,
more.
Black Spades, Turbans, the Reapers, the
Mm-hmm.
uh, Turbans, the Skulls, Black. I mean, I say Black Skulls. Man, they had so many gangs, man. Warlock, hey, Ghetto Brothers, hey. you couldn't even walk down the street sometime if you didn't knew certain people. You have the right colors on, man. Hey, things was yo. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had
Yeah.
different jackets. They had a different dress. It was like what's that thing they used to play years ago? West Side Story.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this was just right in the late 70s, early 80s. It was just coming out of it. So I mean, brothers like me, you didn't mess with us, man.
Yep.
I'm trying to tell you, and all those law enforcement officers that's on the force now, they know it. They know it.
Yep. But brother,
Hell
I want
yeah,
to
they
bring up
know it.
some more people, brother. Hey, I love you. Hey, make sure you guys follow him.
Yeah,
I want to bring up some more people. I want to keep the conversation going.
yeah.
Hey, you got anything else you want to add, brother?
Nah, I'm good, man. Thank you for the
Be safe, brother.
conversation, man. Peaceful, and you do too, man. Peace on earth. Peace on
I
earth.
will. Peace. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. Let's bring somebody else up. Let's see who we got here. Who we got here. Let's go in order here. Black Rings here, I see you, but this person here has been waiting. Let's bring it up. Let's see. Who is this? I don't know who this is. Uh Person didn't come up. Let's bring up Black Wing Zero. Black
Bro,
Wing. What's going on, my
now
brother?
I'll be brutally honest as hell. Are we surprised about anything that goes on in this country when it comes down to the police and black people?
Nope.
How many times have we have literally seen this bullshit on this damn on
Be
this
careful,
TV?
brother. Be careful.
No, how many times we seen this BS on this on TV, on internet, on apps? We have seen it so many times. I'm numb to it now. I'm physically numb to it.
Yep.
And the only thing I'm not numb about is this, right? Y'all, 4 black cops beating a man to death, a black man at that. And you expect us not to be mad because it's our own people doing this. I'm not surprised about anything in this country. I'm not surprised about anything in this world. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. It's just I'm tired. I am so tired of turning on
Yeah.
my TV and another black or my baricuas, my damn Hispanic brothers are literally
Right.
basically dying because guess why? They fear black and brown.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. I the way that I look at it, man, it does go back to what it was a white woman that I met named Tina, and she summed it up very well. She says, people will bat the blue until it happens to you.
It's just mind-boggling at the fact that
It's
basically
mind-boggling. But
we
the
have
thing
to,
about it is that we understand what the purpose of the police were.
no, because I'm going like this though. Can I say this
Go ahead.
for the faces saying we're race soldiers, we're basically victim mentality. I've been hearing this all my damn life. Okay, can I ask y'all a question before I get off this live? When does it fucking end?
Mm.
When does it end that I have to turn on my TV and actually hear some good news? When am I gonna see a black? See, here's the thing though. I was pissed off when basically Juneteenth became a holiday. I'm pissed off at the fact that a white lady basically took her everlasting time to call the OPD in my hometown over a black family reunion because she couldn't get a plate or handle seasoning. For all those people, that's Barbecue Becky. Look her up. She actually did that. Oh, and the next door neighbor, San Francisco, there was a lady that was selling weed out of her house that called the police on a little girl for selling water in front of her house during the World Series.
Right. Yeah. You understand why that happens, right? Because people understand the point of the police. You
I'm
understand the
tired.
point of the police, right? They
I'm
target
tired.
they target the undesirables.
They
You know who
tired of
you already know who the undesirables are, right?
yeah, us. Anybody with melanin in their skin. Here's the thing: at every 60 seconds, a woman with melanin in her skin is kidnapped. And guess what the police do? Nothing.
Nothing.
Every 30 seconds.
Here's my question. Do you really think do we really think that nobody that no cop knew about Epstein, about the Catholic Church, about the Boy Scouts, about all that stuff? Of course they knew about the DC Madam.
Oh, please, they know about.
Of course. Of course. Of
They know
course.
about. No,
There's no way you didn't hear. Listen, I heard about the DC Madam and I wouldn't nowhere near freaking DC or New York.
no.
Everybody knew.
I'm mad at the fact that basically it's right. That every time I go out of my house, I'm walking on eggshells
Right.
with broken glass and Legos just to go to work. Dude, I've said on your live, I've said on your live, devil. I've literally said this on your live. This is too soon to make up. I was pulled over on a bus because they thought I was a 5'9" Indian guy that robbed Chase Bank and got on the bus. I literally talked to another Alameda County sheriff, and he said, "Oh my God, we are so stupid." How, no, and this one thing though, I'm 5 foot.
I want to tell you something else, man, about the footage, brother, that you don't know. So I got an announcement for everybody in chat, man. So after they were finished assaulting this young man, they had a cigarette. Just
what do you do
as he's trying to stand up and he's falling down, and also the paramedics who were involved. There were paramedics who were fired because the video footage also showed that as this boy was trying to get up and he kept falling down, nobody was rendering medical aid. He's bleeding.
Can I say this real talk? Can I say this real talk for basically people that are saying, "What about black on black crime?" Okay, can I ask the question? If anybody did anything about it, who's mostly making the money off of black on black crime to basically make sure this thing stays relevant to this day? It's damn sure it's not us. I'm not putting basically here. None of us own a poppy field. Hell, we don't even own land. The war on drugs, guess what? Guess who's enforcing it? Here's the Nixon basically put it into play, and Reagan basically made sure that it was valid.
Let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you. So for the people who were confused about how the paramedics have treated him, let me explain something to you. You see, when a black woman goes to a hospital and she's pregnant and she tries to have a child, what we find is that there's a high mortality rate with children who are born from from black mothers. Not because black mothers are unhealthy. That's never the reason. If under the right conditions, black mothers give birth successfully almost every single time. That ain't the problem. The problem is poor medical care. You look at right now currently black veterans with the Department of Veteran Affairs. There is currently a federal lawsuit that's been filed by Yale University on behalf of all black veterans, and they have 20 years of data showing that we've been denied VA healthcare coverage, we've been denied healthcare, we've been denied VA claims at even a higher rate than white veterans. So you understand the indifference that those paramedics showed towards Tyree Nichols was the same indifference that was showed towards Elijah McClain. See, this whole thing is, there is a pattern there, whereas not only do the police not value black life, no matter what color the police officer happens to be, but under a system of white supremacy and in this current racial in this current racial caste system, when you're at the end of the night and you don't feel like working, if you want to slack off, the one person you can slack off on is the black person, and usually in this country you just get away with it.
I'm going like this. I'm not surprised about anything that goes on in this country. And they won't. Here's the thing. My boss want me to come to my job with a smile on my face. I can't be fake. Because every time I'm coming to work, I'm coming home. I'm coming to work and coming home pissed off because every time I'm looked at as a fucking criminal. I'm looked at as a criminal. I'm going like this. I'm a light-skinned 5'3" black dude. 5'3" with my shoes on. 5 foot without it. Can I ask a question? Just real talk. What the hell can I do? I'm trying to avoid prison as much as possible because I already know I'm a 2-carton bitch.
No, don't say that about yourself, man. Don't do no.
We,
Brother.
we, we literally pay these men taxes in our taxes. Right now, we are literally paying people for people to basically beat us up with our taxes.
Right.
I say this for Will Talk, and I'm saying this for all that is holy. We need to go after their pension. That's what we
Yeah.
need to do. Go after their freaking pension. Because let me tell you, I've talked to SFPD, OPD, Alameda County Sheriff, and Contra Sheriff. You know one thing they basically said of? Oh, we got a great pension plan. We have a great pension. I'm going like, okay, why don't we go after their pensions? Why don't we? Here's the thing. I'm literally saying this for those 4 officers that basically not doing their job properly. Hell, they shouldn't even get unemployment, let alone their pension, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to run to the union. But
They
you're
should
on
be in
physical.
prison.
They're going to be in physical. Here's the thing. They're going to be on physical. They're on physical camera, beating this man half to death. Beating this man all the way to death. And I'm going like this though. The ones that talk about it, we get banned because we got to keep it censored. This TikTok, we can't keep this censored no more. We just saw the freaking tape. Here's the thing. Red Fox said it best. Let me say this. Anybody remember the scene from Red Fox on Sanford and Sons when he had a white police officer and a whole bunch of basic defendants that were black? He going like, look at all these N-words in here. There's enough N-words in here to make a Tarzan movie. Why you don't arrest no white drivers? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised about anything that goes on in this country until basically they can, until they basically can find somebody else that was 14 years old that served the death penalty for a crime that he didn't commit and just got acquitted in 2022. Until I can basically have the president that was sitting down in this country that didn't apologize to the people that he wanted, the 5 16-year-old boys that he wanted their damn heads, and took a whole damn article for their execution and had reasons why and still said that they were guilty. I'm not surprised about anything. Until we
Right.
basically really retrial those 4 cops that got acquitted for damn Rodney King's beat down, I'm not surprised about anything. I'm
Right.
sick of basically this. Fox News. If you say obey the law, then this dude was basically not only applying, is not only basically giving himself up and basically following the direct orders. They took a smoke break after beating this man.
Yeah.
The only time I ever seen that is getting some nookie. The only time I
Right.
ever seen the person take a smoke break is 2 reasons. One, you just finished 8 hours worth of work and yeah, damn, you deserve it. Or
Can I,
2,
can I
you
point
just put
something
in.
out? Let me point something out. So some people are saying that, hey, riots don't work. They absolutely work. They absolutely work. It just depends on what you mean by work, right? It just depends on what you mean by work. If the intended goal is to push people to make some laws and make some changes, oh, they absolutely work. They're about the only things that actually do work, right? It's the only thing that actually does work.
If we are going to go to that much of extreme, can we do this? Black folks, stop tearing up your neighborhoods that you live in. Yes, we don't own them. I admit that. But I'm going like this, though. It would make a more damn satisfying statement if you went to Beverly Hills and Bel Air and tore up that place.
All right, let's not publicly state that though. You know that reads a little bit too interesting on in an indictment. So let's do that alone. Let's just say for right now, we are very upset, and us being peaceful is no longer an option. So whatever happens,
It's not.
happens. It's just
Matter of
not an
fact, I'm
option.
going
It's
like I'm
just
saying with TikTok. I'm already basically expecting to be banned for just what I have to say. Because I'm saying
But
this,
my thing is, go ahead.
I have literally basically going like this. I've literally said this to cops. Can I ask you a question? How the fuck you live in Brentwood, but basically I got a job in San Francisco? That don't make any sense. How you know your terrain if you grew up in Brentwood, California, and trying to please SF City, which is basically SF County.
Right. I don't know, man. It's at the point where it's just I'm seeing people's reactions, right? Reactions to what's happening in the Tyree Nichols situation. I'm seeing the reactions, and the reactions is what's fascinating to me, because people's reactions showing me that they're fine. They're trying their best to deflect from the overall issue. Like they're going out of the way. Says, well, it was 5 black cops who killed Tyree Nichols. 5 black cops. 5 black cops. It wasn't anybody else but those 5 black cops. And it's like interesting, as if it's just 5 black cops that we've been complaining about.
If I'm not mistaken,
the suggestion,
NWA said that a long time ago. Black police showing out for the white cops. I bet 520 went back to the precinct. They was laughing about it.
Do you understand what the suggestion is? The suggestion is that we're not saying ACAB, that we're saying all white cops. That's basically what they are suggesting. Do you understand that the most noteworthy case that I covered was Alex Underwood, a black sheriff out of South Carolina? That was the landmark case that got me famous. So this idea that you putting a black sheriff or a black police chief in Thurgood Place is going to suddenly change my opinion, or you pointing out that the stormtroopers happen to be just like Finn, a black stormtrooper, you think you pointing that out is going to suddenly make cops look better? It doesn't matter. ACAB, bastards. That's what we call it.
Out here? No, let me put this out here. Basically, anybody that basically want to look this up, ask SFPD. They are shorthanded to the point of that they trying to recruit security guards to be police officers.
Lord. So basically, Paul Blart, he's gonna get his wings. Oh no. Paul Blart gonna get his wings, y'all. Oh no.
Can I say this? No, SFPD is really recruiting within. Here's the thing, because they're shorthanded. They are shorthanded, and they wonder why. I know the reason why, because guess why? SFPD has basically literally been the core for police brutality for the last 20 years.
Who wants to work for doggone racists? I don't.
Can I also say this? Let me say
listen.
This.
If you could actually avoid working for racists, you absolutely would, wouldn't you? No matter how much they pay you.
Can I also say this for people that's basically trying to defend the cops that basically went into Breonna Taylor's house? Why did they pay Breonna Taylor's family $21 million? If she was guilty of the said crime, why did they pay her family $21 million? That don't make any sense. Even if it was a wrongful death, if you had a search warrant and a victim by that search warrant, and Lily had a no-knock warrant, and Lily was basically had a hunch of basically all this, can I ask one simple question? Why did you pay her family $21 million? Can I ask about George Floyd? George Floyd got the highest. He's literally basically, here's the thing, George Floyd's family, his daughter is set for life. His daughter is set for life. You paid this man almost $30 million.
Right.
So if he was guilty of basically going through hold on a second.
Right.
If he was guilty of said crime, and mind you, I've seen the video of the body cam footage of the original officer that came up there. He already had his gun pulled.
Right. Hey, brother, so I want to bring some other people up. Go ahead.
But I want to say this. If he was guilty of said crime, why did you pay him $27 million? Which is the highest in the country.
Because they're guilty.
I'm not surprised about anything, bro. Until we see change, I'm not surprised about anything. Black first, man.
All right, man. Be safe, brother. Hey, and whatever you do, man. Whatever you do, brother. Whatever you do, if you hear me, just avoid the police. They're violent. They typically strike their wives A lot of them watch some very inappropriate stuff on the internet. Trust me, I got a whole playlist for that. And many of them are not known to be trustworthy around children. I'm just gonna say it to you like that. Just like that. Goofball Express. Let's see what Goofball Express has to say. Let's see if Goofball Express is gonna be loud. What's going on, Goofball Express?
What's happening, man? You know, I just got to say I love your content. That's why I came to participate in your live. But it
Good
go
stuff.
back to this for me, man. People forget what the original police were. That's why, like, you don't like laws, I don't care for them either. But I don't care for black laws. The original police badge, the first badge ever made, said slave catcher. Google it. Didn't say sheriff, didn't say nothing like that. It said slave catcher. Man, black laws are no different. These guys that did this to that young man, Tyree, and if you look at the video and pay closer attention, it's more than them five there. That's why when you said they was ambulance driver, but if you look behind the red light, it's another man there. So
Okay.
I don't know if it was a law or ambulance, a paramedic, but it was somebody in uniform.
Right, right.
These things going on right now is nothing new, man. A lot of people, if they just go read the book, Behold the Pale Horse, they understand what's really going on in society. This stuff is the internet. The stuff we do right now. This is a form of policing each other without having to use the police. Right?
Yeah.
Just think they on the clock, they watching the same shit we watching. You know how I know shit? They be on the job making TikToks. You know, they drop little gems or they making money having a good time. Like Stale Cracker. People don't understand. Stale Cracker was the law as well. He's the law as well. I'm from Texas, man. You
Right.
from South Carolina.
Right.
I'm from where racism runs so goddamn deep, it's ridiculous. And you done probably heard of the place. I stay right next to Santa Fe. You know what I'm saying? By way of Vida, you know what I'm saying? That's another place. I'm in Texas, deep in the heart of the South, deep in the heart of Texas.
Right.
This is nothing new. Them
Nope.
5 black laws that they have, man, that ain't their first rodeo.
Nope.
And it's the reason they did that. And you right. They show up, but they have been given permission to do that. That's why they give black men that join the police status, and then they send them
Right.
back to the community. Most people don't even know they outsource the laws that police the community. When you look at the other color laws, whether people consider them cool or not, they are outsourced from a place predominantly of their color. I'm gonna just say that. And then they brought in to ride around, pay attention, but who they get to do the real work? They know most people trust the people of their color. Them peoples are still nothing more than slave catchers. When they used to catch slaves, they used black people a lot of the time. That's in history as well. So it's no different. That's all I want to say, brother. Love your
Yes, sir.
content, and I'll be thanking you. I'm thanking you for coming to my page and just laughing at the goofy stuff I have go on. But sometimes
Absolutely.
I
I'll give
have
you a
real
follow.
rhetoric. You
Absolutely.
already
Hey.
follow me, fam. You follow me. It's just under Bill Big, but you follow me already. So
Oh,
I
good stuff. Good stuff.
appreciate that, man. And I
All
like
right.
communicating with you. So thank you. And move on to your next guest, man.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Be safe, brother.
Thank
Be safe out there.
you. You too.
You too. All right. That was our brother there. Make sure you show him some love. Give him a follow. I'm gonna bring up some more people. Bring up Black Dennis the Menace.
Hey,
How you doing,
Cat,
brother?
how you doing, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I heard the news
Right.
a couple of days ago, and at first when I turned on the news, I seen four colored cops up on a mug shot, and I'm like, what's going on with this? So when I turned it up and started understand what it was, just made me remember when I lost my relative, my first cousin, my little cousin. You know, my name is Dennis, so everybody will know. I'm
Right.
from the Bay Area. I'm a part of the B1FAM, Frontline Activists, and my auntie, she's a leader in that in me becoming an activist because she had to protest and march with them picket signs during the George Floyd and even before George Floyd. She was in the thick of fighting in a lawsuit over her son's passing away. My cousin, his name is Ronell Foster. We call him Cat Daddy Ronell Foster of Vallejo. He is he is he is taken away from us by Vallejo patrol. And when they took him away, they had in court where they said they had justification to take him away. But when you
Right.
actually see the video footage, you understand he was approached by two officers who was up in the undercover car. And in the car and that body cam, it showed that they had a conversation where they seen him riding down the street at nighttime without his bike on his
Right.
bike in his neighborhood.
Right.
And they said, yeah, listen, they said, there's Ronell Foster. So they chased him down without putting on any signs or telling them who they is. They're in the undercover
Right.
car. They chased him down the back of a house. He laid down when he realized that there's officers, and he had his hands out. And they
Right.
repeatedly trauma, quick injury on his head. Then tased him. Then at the end, they poomed him in the back of the head and in his back.
Wow.
And he didn't have
Dang.
no
So
weapon, no
I have a
nothing.
question. Why you guys keep voting for these people that makes these policies
Can
for
I ask
these
you a
police to
question?
do this?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What about me makes you think I vote?
Yeah, I know. I
Well,
don't
I
vote
mean,
either, man.
how come you guys don't create like
No,
activist
no, no,
groups
whoa,
who
whoa, whoa,
can
whoa.
It doesn't
No,
matter
no,
who
no,
we,
no,
hey,
no, no, no,
bro.
no, no,
It
no, no, no,
doesn't
no, no,
matter
no.
who we vote for.
The question
It
that
bring
doesn't
you
the
matter
people
asked is
who
out?
we
very
vote for. This
accusatory.
still won't happen.
You made that
Your
statement. Why
people.
do you guys keep
Your
voting? No, no.
people.
What was it about me that even prompted you to ask that question when you had nothing to
Well,
actually base
because
that I'm on?
I'm
Was it
57
because
years old, guy.
was it because I'm black?
No,
No. Okay. Well, then
I'm
answer the
talking as
question.
a whole.
I need no. You're
No,
talking
we're
to
gonna get
me.
racist,
I'm the
huh?
host. I'm the host.
Right. Let's not get racist about it
No.
because
I asked you a
I was born in
question. So answer the
Hopewell.
question. Okay. Well, then you got to go then.
I was born in
So answer the
Hopewell.
question.
I'm not racist.
I'm going to ask you the question. What was it about me
Okay.
that makes you ask that question?
No,
Do you just
I
ask the
asked
question
you.
to everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So everybody.
Why
So
don't
you go to
there
work every
more?
day and you ask random
You
people, why did you vote for these people? Do you just ask that question to just random people? Why ask me that question?
when they get into conversations like this, yeah.
Okay. Why? Why? What
What
was
is
it about me
where's the
that makes you think that
results?
I even voted? Did you know that
Well, I
most
mean,
black
you
people don't
should.
even vote?
Look,
Then
hey,
they don't
Cat.
have a right to
Here's the
So
march
reason
no.
and
why I
do all
don't
that
I'm
because
vote.
asking you. I'm asking you. What did you
they're
have to base
they're
what you're saying off of? That's what I'm asking you. I'm asking you to use your words.
all right. Now, why
What?
didn't
No,
you
I'm
vote?
asking you a direct question. This is my show. You don't get to just jump on the other
Right.
topics. You're gonna answer the question. What was it about
Well, you
me
got a
that
voice
made
on
you ask
here.
that question? What
No.
was it about me
Okay,
that
so
made
you
you
got
ask that question? I'm
This
gonna ask you
dude
that
is
one more time
trolling.
before I boot you
because
from the show. What was it about me that makes you ask
you
that
have a
question?
following. you have a following. And
That
you
was
have
the only.
some
Wait, hold on.
influence.
So you think
Hey,
someone
Cap,
with a
you had a little
following?
bit too much Jim Beam, man. You
Yeah,
had a little
that
too
makes
much
no
Jim
sense.
Beam, bro.
It's not adding up.
You
Hey,
can no,
what
it
he
does
said
There's
because you
was
could be
nothing about.
speaking some
I'm
truth to
asking you.
refute
No,
it.
I'm trying to teach you a lesson about
You ain't
making
teaching that lesson,
assumptions.
guy. I'm 57,
About making
and I've
assumptions.
been
in black spaces, buddy. You make an assumption in the black space that
Do
you
you
don't know
I've been.
nothing
understand
about
that
yourself.
most people would consider me
You
to be very
okay?
conservative?
Let's
You
let's
know
come
the
from my
situation we
perspective.
in,
Do
bro.
you
I'm
understand
from
that most people
Hopewell, a
would
real
consider me to be
slave.
very conservative?
I hope so.
Besides my view of police officers, that's the only thing that really makes me kind of left leaning and weird.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
understand that?
what I'm saying is, you have a voice, you have a following.
Hmm.
Instead of always beating on the system and not voting to make
That doesn't
changes,
answer the original
you're
question. What was it
pissing
about
in the
me
fan.
that
You're
makes you
pissing in the
think that
fan.
I voted at all? And especially for people who support
Well,
police officers.
but here's the deal: if you don't
No.
vote,
There's no here's the deal.
then you're
Answer
not
the question.
helping the system,
I'm asking you to answer the
and all you're
question.
doing is pissing in the
What was it
fan.
about me that made you ask the question? You're trying to avoid answering the question because I think you already know the answer. I'm
No,
not going to say what the answer is.
I
I'm
was
going to
honest.
let you assume what I meant because
Let
you
me
two
already
say
did a
guys,
whole lot of
something,
assuming.
hey,
honest
So
Cap.
I'm trying to
answer.
answer your question. I want people
Two
to see
guys,
this. I'm doing this live for my audience so that they can see this. First of all, I'm going to
right?
go ahead and just mute you now so that you can't just interrupt me. I want my audience to see this live. You see what happens? How people will avoid trying to be labeled racist even though they're being that. Because there was no reason to even ask that question unless he believed that because I'm black, I'm going to vote Democrat. Even though if you look on my channel, I have nothing but videos criticizing Democrats. In fact, my whole journey into going after law enforcement was because of a Democrat sheriff named Leon Lott in South Carolina. The pinned video, if you go on mobile, the actual blue video, the video that got me internationally famous was me going after Sheriff Leon Lott, who is a registered Democrat.
My God.
So I am known by the DNC to be an enemy of Democrats. You came into the one guy's chat assuming that because I'm black, despite the fact that I'm wearing a Black American heritage flag, and a lot of people who are black who actually wear this flag are foundational Black Americans, a lot of these people happen to be very much conservative, if you don't know that. But see, you wouldn't know that because you're too busy being racist to actually talk to us. You make assumptions, and now you want me to be civil with you. That's not how that works. So I'm going to unmute you. I'm going to give you a chance to correct yourself. Try to approach me again. If you approach me nicely, we'll have a nice conversation. If you continue to be who you are, I'm going to be who I am, which is a person who rejects white supremacy.
So I can remind them of something. But one thing upon this live, you have to understand
to
what we're
answer
talking about,
your
bro.
question, why I picked you, the God, the truth, is because you got a following, and typically, I'm from Hopewell. If you know where Hopewell is, it's where my people were saved by a bunch of slaves, and my people are still there, along with a lot of descendants of the slaves. It's between the Hermitage, the Andrew Jackson farm, and the Donaldson farm. Captain John Donaldson, his great-granddaughter was Rachel Jackson. Okay, I don't assume all black people vote Democrat. I know most of them don't vote, but they complain.
You're not answering the direct question. You won't answer it because you know what the answer is.
I don't believe.
You call yourself Native American, but sir, you are white. You appear white. You sound white. That's why you're not on camera.
Yeah,
on my dad's side, you understand? If you were to appear on camera, actually on video, looking like you're white, saying this stuff, you would look how you sound right now.
Right. But
there's no way in the world you would go into a black barbershop, ask that question out loud, and then expect them to treat you with respect. It's not going to happen.
Hey, Cat, hold on. Ribbon.
But you're also deviating from the actual topic. You're saying these things. You're saying these things. You're just making these statements, even though you know most black people don't even vote. So your statement is based on a complete lie.
But
because
the
we're only
people that
13% of
don't
the
vote, they
population. So hold
complain a
on,
lot.
wait. Even if we all voted, we're only 13% of the population. So any decision that has been made will ultimately still fall back on white people, just based on numbers alone. If you don't understand numbers, I can't help you. I can't help you then.
Not if everybody stands together, united. It's not about
Sir,
color, man. It's
do you
about
understand
we
that you
all
walked in, you the one who brought color into this when you
right.
first came in and says, why do y'all vote for it?
Now
First of all, what do you mean by
you
y'all?
made you implied it
What do
was
you no.
racist
I'm actually what do
in
you mean by
Muslim.
y'all? Who's y'all?
That's just a southern
Hey,
slang.
black
That's a
folks,
southern
No,
slang,
man.
man.
no,
Don't
it's not.
read into it.
I'm from the South. I spent 30 years in South
Yes,
Carolina.
it is.
Try again, sir.
That's
I
that's the
spent 30
problem.
years in South
People
Carolina.
try to
That's
read
not
into
something
people try to find
you just say.
racism. When you and I both know, I could drop
Try
my
again.
blood on a platelet, and so do you. Can you? And
You've
they can
done
never
every
tell
single
either
racist
one of
bingo
us
thing out here. First of
what
all, you
color we
came in and
are.
says, "Hey, I'm Native American." Native American. That's the first racist bingo because the only reason why you bring that up is because
Yeah.
that way you can try to make you try to actually put yourself on equal footing with me.
I said I was
That's
born
the
right
only reason
there.
why.
And my
You
dad's
did,
people.
sir.
My
Hey,
dad's people.
There's no point in you
he said
mentioning
his
how native
daddy
you
told
are
him he
unless
Okay.
had
you are
to
on
pay
a
I'll be
reservation
I'll be a
or you
whooping
fight.
boy at
outwardly
your own
identify as
cost.
one. You identify as white, right? Right?
No, I identify as a human being. You
Okay,
drop
sir.
your
You have a
plate
good
with a
night,
blood
sir.
on
You
a
have a good
hang
night.
on.
Y'all identify as a
You
human being.
All right,
You
what
identify
does
as
it say
white.
on
you
your
drop
You
your
identify
paperwork?
as
blood on
White
a
white. Stop
uniform.
that.
platelet.
Stop. Goodbye, sir. Have a good night. Well, what? You see what I mean? You see what I mean? When you
Yeah.
actually get these people, and the whole thing was about police corruption.
Man,
Do
that
you
guy
see
dressed
how we
like it's
travel
Friday night, man.
across Eternia? We traveled across the lands. We have boarded the magical dragon, and we traveled all the way across the lands to return back to the point that he's a racist. He did the
Mm.
racist bingo. I like police. Why do y'all vote Democrat? Even though he doesn't know that I don't vote Democrat, I'm
Man,
known
he
to not
already
go.
told
I'm
you
known
he's
to not like
racist,
Democrats.
Raycard.
I'm Native American, so he can put himself on equal terms with me, so that he can try to argue with me about oppression. He
Man,
did the whole racist bingo.
when he says slaves saved him and his family's life, then that already told us that he is racist. He don't even know why this live is active right now. What our topic is. He's just jumping in, trying to
Exactly.
defend something they support because that's where he come from.
But
You know?
if he actually did any research into me, he realized that I'm the one guy you could never assume to be a Democrat because the main target that I'm going after is a Democrat. Never mind. Hey, Dennis, be safe, brother. I gotta bring somebody else on, okay?
All right, brother.
Be
Thanks,
safe.
man. Hey,
Be
hey,
safe.
hey, let me say one thing. Y'all don't forget my cousin Ronell Foster.
Ronell
Ronell
Foster.
Foster
All
over
right.
there. Y'all look up into that. Put out a post or something, man.
Got you.
Get some love for him for my auntie, man. Thanks, y'all.
Got you,
Love
brother.
y'all.
Love you, brother. Be safe.
You too, brother.
All right, all right. Let's bring somebody else up. This was that one caller was interesting. Let's bring up Hardhead Herbert, man. Hardhead Herbert. I know you've been waiting patiently, Herbert. I gotta bring you up, brother. Ronell Foster.
Yeah,
What's going on,
and
Herbert?
the folks make assumption about things they have no information on, and like you say, you try to ease in the door, like, hey, I'm I'm Indian. It's like, what they got to do with the price of tea? I'm
The
glad
thing
he got
about it
glad he
is
got
the
you.
way that the way that you know that he's a racist is because he doesn't really listen to us. He doesn't realize that in the modern day black community, there's a fusion of the left and the right. Foundational black Americans, black descendants, American slaves. A lot of us who are black Americans, we're not super duper Democrats like that. We a lot of us may vote that way, but at heart we're really conservative. So when you just come in and start assuming that I'm a Democrat, it's like you're only doing that so that you could just group me into like a camp, right? So that
Yeah,
you don't have to actually debate the points. You can debate a political position. You know? Well,
I
he's
got a
just
couple questions for you.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you really think they're gonna get him all the way to the court and a guilty verdict?
Yeah, because they're black officers. That's the only reason why. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think the only issue is how much time are they going to get? That's the issue. It's not so much of if they're going to be convicted because based on the video, no, they're going to prison. It's just how long, So again, the whole trick now is to trick us with the idea of, well, they were convicted, and then they end up with the Amber Geiger. So
And it was more than 5 of them. It was way more than 5.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So, but hey, anyways, brother, I'm gonna try to wrap it up. So, you got anything else that you want to add, brother?
Hey, keep us informed on what's going on out there, man, because you get
I
the info a
will,
lot of times
absolutely.
before us. Yeah.
I
You
will.
be safe and keep hammering the truth, man. Don't let them folks try to keep us in the dark, because that's how they want us to live.
You know what though, and I decided starting tomorrow I'm going to try to cover a lot more news. Because I've been finding that, really my channel has evolved from just covering cops to reparations and covering other black issues. And so I gotta start doing it. I gotta start pushing. I gotta keep knocking, man. I gotta make my grandma proud. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, you be good, my brother, and be
I
safe
will.
out there.
Be
All
safe,
right.
brother.
All right.
Peace. All right. Let's bring up some more. Let's see who is next in line. Let's see who we got. Myron Birdsong. Let's bring it on.
Hey, mama.
How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Let me tell you something I have observed tonight. I have been on 4 black conservative lives, because I mostly go to their lives, because I be trying to figure out why they conservative. And let me tell you what's been going down with them tonight. Their followers are talking ish to them. They are for the police. They are saying things like, why did he run? Why this, why that, Blue Lives Matter, all those things like that. And now those black conservatives are arguing with their own supporters,
Yep.
those MAGA people who support them because they say everything bad about blacks and agree with all of them. Dude,
Yep.
if you tune in to AJ's rant or any of these people like that,
saw it.
Craig even, that guy named Craig, the one who's always simping for
Yep.
white supremacy and Republicans and stuff, he is having a difficult time with his followers.
There's
He's like,
there's no retirement plan for buck dancing.
right, there's no retirement. But dude, tonight they got their Negro wake up call tonight.
Mhm.
You understand me? It's sad that they had to do it. That it took this.
Right.
It's sad that it took this.
It really is.
But as of tonight, those black for Trump's black conservatives, black Republicans, they are arguing with their own white followers tonight.
And I think what these people don't realize is that at the end of the day, white supremacy always breaks its tools. Just like our brother, Professor Black Truth says, shout out to Professor Black Truth. White supremacy always breaks its tools.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So when they're done with you, they're done with you.
They're done with you.
You're gonna end up just like Stacey, what's that one girl? Stacey Dash. And just like
Dash,
Diamond and Silk.
Yeah.
Diamond and Silk, they got fired by Fox, and they got let go by who was that? I think it was One American News. They got let go by them too.
Sure.
And they went out very, very much unceremoniously.
And then Trump had nerve to go to the woman's funeral and say he didn't remember the other woman, the other Silk. He said, "Come on, I don't remember. I never met Silk, but I did know Diamond." I was like, at the woman's funeral, I was like,
that's Trump. That's Trump.
These coons getting their Negro wake up call today.
They are.
Boy.
And you know what happened though? Is that those 5 police officers, they thought that, hey, I'm a police officer, so I can avoid the racial caste system. And they got their wake up call.
Yes, they
you
did
ain't
too.
you don't have the same complexion as a Derek Chauvin or Amber Geiger.
That's
You're not gonna get a hug in the Bible.
There you go. Like Paul Mooney said, you don't have the protection for the, what do you call it? The complexion for the protection. What he used to say.
Hey, no. Paul Mooney, he did one routine, and as soon as I do it, you can recognize it. Wake up.
Wake up, nigga.
Wake up, yeah.
Wake up
Yeah,
and
listen.
get your
You gonna get the wake up call. Listen, let me tell you something. A wake up call. Let me tell you the worst time to get a wake up call. Right. The worst time to get a wake up call is when you have a wife in the family, because when a wake up call comes, you don't know how bad the wake up call is gonna get. Wake up call could be losing your job. Wake up call could be a criminal record. Wake up call could be you going to jail. Wake up call could you be getting your butt kicked by the police. You don't know what's going to happen, but it don't matter what happens when you have a family. They all going to see it.
They're showing up.
That is the worst place to be as a freaking black man, ain't it? Dang.
Yes, it is. But dude, if you want to see them squirm, I'm talking about the Ruckuses, the Uncle Ruckuses, and all of them. Go on one of their lives, dude, and watch them squirm. Watch them argue with their own followers.
I'm gonna see it,
dude.
After this live, I need to have me some entertainment because this has been traumatizing. So I'm gonna have me some entertainment.
It's for entertainment. I got kicked off of 3 of them because I told them I tried to tell you. I was like, hey, we tried to tell you. We tell you the whole time. You know. I said, now your own followers are pissed at you because, you know, all of them find this horrific. All of the black conservatives, they find this totally horrific and inexcusable. And a few of them are still trying to make excuses. You know, they'll say it's bad, but, you know, all cops are not bad. You know, they revert back to that thing, you know. But this is just utterly horrible you know, and they're saying, you know, well, this is plain to see. The others were plain to see.
The other plain to see.
The others were too. You know, I believe that this time the guy didn't get shot. You know, they watched him get beat to death. You know, just like with George Floyd. You know, he didn't get shot. You know, he got crushed to death.
Right.
And
brother, I want to bring up some more people, man. Is there anything else that you want to add, brother? I want to give you some love too. Myron Bird Song 1. Make
Word
sure
up.
Follow.
Word up. Thank you, sir. I watch you all the time, man. More power to you. Hey, I'm giving you all the strength and love.
Thank you so much. Hey, I want you to be safe out there, brother, and please take care of yourself, all right? And avoid the police.
Word.
I hear they're pretty dangerous, man.
Oh man, so I see.
And you got to pay for them too.
Damn right, tax money.
God dang.
That makes it bad. Don't make
it bad. Be safe, brother.
All right, you too.
All right, be one. All right. Let's bring some more people up, man. We got a little line here. All right, so let's bring up Lady Justice Matt. All right, I'm gonna just go with the bottom list. What's going on, Lady Justice?
Hey, how are you doing today?
Good.
Yes, I be like, I be talking about how the police is. I read in the encyclopedias that they just here to oppress people anyway. So,
right.
And we got to see that it's most of us too that get trained by them and then come in and try to oppress others that look like them.
Right.
And I just be like, why?
Because it's just like marketing. It's not about changing the system. It's just about finding a new way to go after you. In a way that you find friendly, and not so disturbing. Like, for example, they don't call it slavery. They call it mass incarceration now. They don't call it mass surveillance. They call it the CIA. They don't call it mass bombing. They call it a proxy war. They call it a drone strike. Right?
Well,
go ahead.
I look at the police like they are only people to write reports for something for me when I need an insurance claim, or you know what I'm saying. My family protects my family, or I protect my family, and we have to look at the police as they are not here to protect us. They have never been here to protect us, no matter if they look like us or you know what I'm saying. Or not us. They are not here to protect us. They are I read it in literally an encyclopedia that they are here to oppress. So we got to look at them like you just something to write a police report when I got to do an insurance claim. That's it. Hello.
Wow. Yes, I'm here. I'm listening. I wanted you to go ahead and put that out there. So the thing about the only thing about the police and insurance claims is that honestly, that's all they pretty much do. That's what they do for the most part. Like for example, if you look at how police mostly spend their time, only 4 to 6% of their calls are actually about anything dealing with violent crime. The vast majority of their calls are things like car wrecks, things like simple crimes, jaywalking, people calling the police because of noise complaints, that kind of stuff. They don't deal with crime the vast majority of the time. The reason why things go to violence a lot of times because police officers tend to escalate things. So honestly, much of the violence that we see on the streets is either pretextual stops, whereas they will stop someone and try to basically look for something to basically put you in handcuffs over, or basically what we find is that police officers will be just riding around and see a random person, usually black, and they will accost them. And when the person runs because of a history of police going after black people in particular, well then what tends to happen is you know those people are harmed, and then you retroactively justify it because they ran, even though what you've done to them justifies the reason why they ran in the first place.
Well, I need my black men to understand something. They need to stop running because one thing about it, they can't look you in your face because they cowards. They always have been cowards. So we have to just stand there and we have to actually know how to talk to these people, educate ourselves on the laws of America. A lot of us don't even live, we live here and don't even know the laws of the land we live on. And we
Right?
have to promote that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very different solution, but yours
I mean,
works. Yours
every,
works with yours works too. Mine's a little bit more drastic. I say every black person needs to engage in the Second Amendment and arm yourself. And if they understand that every black person is carrying a fully automatic weapon on them at every given on point, and they're pulling us over, could mean that you don't make it home. Mm, that would change a lot of things. It's for the exact same
and
reason
something
why
like
you're not
that,
going to
they
just
are
ride
bringing in
through
the National
Compton.
Guard.
They can
If we
call in National
start,
Guard.
I mean, I do say that we should get our, we should get, you know what I'm saying, get armed. I have no doubt about that. We should do that. But at
Mhm.
the end of the day, going against that is like basically going against the government. And that's why I say
Yeah.
we got to do it like at first peacefully. And I'm just only reason I say peacefully because like I said, they are cowards. What they do is when you run, they shoot you in the back and then tell you it's resisting arrest.
You're right.
So, and I'm
You're
just
right.
like
Yeah.
this. And if you know what I'm saying, if we are these black men, right, that actually know the law and know how to actually conduct and talk to these folks, and I'm not saying kiss their ass, because you ain't got to be respectful. We just know how because they have been killing us and doing all this stuff to us and taking stuff from us because they know the laws better than we do.
I mean,
Because
it,
they've
it
been
doesn't it
taking
doesn't
this
really
stuff
matter
from
about
us
knowing the law or
with
not knowing it.
pen
I
and
mean, Tyree
paper, though.
Nichols,
I get
Tyree
that. And
Nichols,
what
it was
Tyreek
it was just
Nichols?
he was just
Yeah.
walking. I mean, Elijah McClain, it wouldn't matter how much he knew law or didn't.
But no, that's what I'm saying.
It's like
All
a
I'm
roll
saying,
of dice, really.
I'm not saying that people we still would not have anybody that is like that won't get harmed if they just actually stood their ground. Because I really want, you know what I'm saying, us to know that they cannot look you in in your face as no man. You get what I'm saying? They really can't. Like I looked at pictures of the Million Man March the other day. And then I was like, that's what they're afraid of. And they're afraid of that turning into a actual army. You feel me? That's what they always been afraid of. That's why they have kept us distant and hating each other, and they get us to help us do it.
I mean, the thing about it is that we can definitely march and do all that. I mean, that's all great, and we need to know the law. But I think at this point going forward, there needs to also be a situation. You ever watched The Dark Knight? There was the Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh yeah, that was my
There
favorite
was
one.
one particular scene where Joker was hanging from a roof and Batman had him dangling with this rope. And Joker said, "I don't fear you." And Batman says, "Why?" I mean, every other body fears me. Of course you fear me. And think about the Joker. He said, "Well, you have nothing to threaten me with because you won't do what needs to be done." So that's why I say my solution. I mean, yours works. More education always works. My solution is if they understand that every black person out there, we fully support the Second Amendment. We don't want gun control anymore. We will tell Joe Biden rescind all gun control. We want full gun rights for everybody. Let's all buy firearms tomorrow, right now, before they
Everybody
put in
got
any
to
more
deserve
new gun control.
firearms.
Buy all the assault weapons, the so-called assault weapons. Buy all of them. All of them off the shelves. Buy all the ammunition. Don't just buy one magazine, buy all of it. Go buy any store that you can buy it, buy all of it, buy all the body armor, the Kevlar helmets, buy whatever you gotta buy, and you call your local PD, every black person, and you tell them that you are a peaceful person, you don't want trouble. And if they bring trouble, you bring it back. See, that's where we are at this point, because all the stuff that people have been telling me to try, we've done all that.
Not
It
as a
doesn't work.
real whole though. Like as
They
a
they can bring the military. Guess what? They were going to do that anyways.
yeah, but that's what they want to do. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying. That's what they want to
they're
do.
going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
So I have nothing to do them lose. I mean, it wouldn't have if you asked Breonna Taylor's if we were to bring Breonna Taylor back to life and ask her, hey, would you care if it was a soldier or a cop who shot you? You think she care? No. If the results
Okay.
are going to be exactly the same, you remove the incentive for me to fear you. So
I mean, I've
at this
always just
point, the
thought
cops
about
either
this.
have to change or there's going to be a lot of bacon. And I've already been hearing this all day long. And honestly, I hope it happens. They deserve it.
I've always thought that maybe as citizens, we should have something called the citizens police that actually govern. I mean, police the government. They police us. Why can't we have something that police them?
We do
Making
have it. It's
sure
called the
that
Second Amendment. But the thing
we
is,
trying to,
listen. All we need
we
is
trying to go to war on our land.
no. I'm not trying to go to war. Again, people think that as soon as you say I'm going to resist, that means that they're going to bring down the full government. You think they're gonna start drone striking their own land? Do you realize what would happen?
I ain't saying they're
The
drone
government
strikers.
will
That's
be
not what I'm
overthrown
saying.
within like a day. We're the
I ain't
third most
saying
populated
that.
country on planet Earth. They can't.
I ain't saying that.
There's if they couldn't control Iraq and Afghanistan, and I've seen how that turns out because I'm a combat veteran. If they couldn't control them, do you know what would happen if they would have harmed me, and then all the fans who actually like me, a lot of these people who would intentionally target cops. In fact, I put out the home addresses of cops in my local area. They all know that. It's on publicrecordsorcerer.org. I put it all out there. So the second you come for me, your families are gonna be targeted. And I want it to happen just like that. So do you understand that when that happens, that's the only reason why cops don't come for me? Because I have to threaten them like that? See, that's why I tell black folks, be just like that. And if every single person out there is doing that, basically every time you harm a black person, we put your face out there. Every time you move into the neighborhood, we make sure we post up signs that says, "Hey, police officer lives here." We don't care who lives with you. If something happens. That's your fault. Move out then. The same way that people tell black people, oh well, if you don't like the neighborhood, then move out. Tell you what, if you think it's too unsafe for you to be a police officer in my neighborhood, then move. Period. So that's how I feel about it. All this peaceful and kumbaya and marching, that ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing. It's time to get serious.
What about like people that actually like you are a combat veteran? So that means you can actually go buy guns and be all. What about the ones who so are they just collateral damage?
Oh, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. It was kind of low. I
I
apologize.
said, I'm sorry. I said, what about the ones that can't go buy, you know, guns, and what about people that got like, actually changed their life around? They got felonies when they was young, or what I'm saying, people
Well,
that actually got mental illnesses, and what I'm saying, still trying to change and can't buy it, what I'm saying, because they have got it to the point where a lot of our people do not understand how important the cleanness of their name is. So
well, the thing
how are
about it
they
is
going?
that those
So are they
people,
going?
there's always going to be bystanders. There's always going to be people
So it's going to be a
who
lot of
can't do
collateral
what needs to be
damage.
done. But the thing is that what we need to explain is this is all about self-defense. We don't preemptively strike. It's all about self-defense. You know, the thing about it is a police officer comes towards me, they understand something. I'm gonna show you something real quick. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. There's only 19% of cops who are veterans. So the average cop has never seen the amount of firefights, the amount of combat, the amount of danger that I've seen. There's a big difference between being on American streets and being in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Big difference. Huge difference. So when that cop gets into a firefight with me, he's not gonna win that. This is why when cops get into a firefight with the average veteran, they typically lose. Michael Xavier Johnson, Chris Dorner, Robert Eugene Long. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. So with that being said, now that cops realize that, and now that they realize I'm not looking to get all of you, just one. So whenever they want to pull some little no-knock raid, whatever, they gotta look to their left, look to their right, and pick which one is not gonna come back with us. Because it's gonna be one. I'm too well trained to not get one. So with that being said, now that cops realize I'm that kind of guy, if you're a police officer, would you come to my house?
No.
Exactly. You all need to become me. Train. Get a firearm. Go to firearm classes. Learn how to fight. Learn about freaking explosives. Get some body armor. Learn everything about chemicals. Become the Taliban. Basically, that's what I learned from the freaking Taliban. This is why they don't freaking touch me, because I'm worse. I've beaten Taliban. You want to fight me? Okay. I welcome them. I really welcome them.
Okay, but this is my biggest thing, Dave. We got it's me. I'm single and I got a
Mhm.
kid. Like I said, that you got people out here that is just gonna be collateral damage. And you like, I got a kid that's gonna be 16 and driving one day. Do he have to be? He can't get no gun yet. So
I
our
understand
kids
that.
gonna
Yeah, I
be
understand that.
collateral damage because of
But you need to
the
right now
way.
make it clear to the police. You hurt my
No,
kid. You give me nothing to live for. So that means that your families don't. They are also forfeit. If you make sure, no. What you do is you make it clear to them. I know where your kids go to daycare at. I've made it clear to them. When I pulled the first, middle, and last name of every law enforcement officer in the entire state of Washington, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, South Dakota, North Dakota, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, and California, all the states, all of it. When I did that, I said, now I dare you. Because if I found that, right, that means other people have. And if I found it, I've already published it. So when you text me, all the people that I know or don't even like me, they're coming for your families.
I mean my kid is all I got to live for. You're right. You know what I'm saying? So I probably would go on a law-abiding citizen type deal.
Well, that's what cops deserve. I say at this point, I was calling for peace. Screw that.
I'm
Cops,
not called.
they
Look. I'm not
understand
calling.
only one thing. They understand becoming bacon. That's what changes them. Bacon.
Okay. Okay. I'm not really asking for. I'm not asking for. I'm asking for peace. Like
Hmm.
with I want it to be like, let it be a last resort type deal, you know? You know what I'm saying? So, cause
Last
we
resort.
gotta worry about the collateral damage
If
first.
you were Tamir
As
Rice's mother,
huh?
if you were Tamir Rice's mother, would you be talking like this? Nope. Peace. I want you to understand something. Just hear it from a war veteran who's done it so many times. Peace is a concept that is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful concept, and everybody wants it.
I'm just tripping how we just finna start, right after, not when the white ones did it now, but when the
We
black
did
ones
it.
did
What
it.
do you mean? What do you
Right.
mean?
I
There was
mean, we want to go
retaliation
to war when the
when
black
there
ones
was
do it
a
instead of the
shooting
white ones.
of a black man. Michael Xavier Johnson took out 5 Dallas police officers. What are you talking about?
Oh shit.
Yeah, he did. In fact, Chris Dorner, he went ham. Robert Eugene Long. There's let me give you a little bit of a rundown history lesson. So there's a man named
Yeah.
Robert F. Williams. Robert F. Williams. He was the um, um, Malcolm X before there actually was a Malcolm X. Robert F. Williams went to the home of Medgar Evers. Do you know who that is?
Mhm.
Medgar Evers. Yeah, there was over 100 Klansmen who showed up to the home of Medgar Evers. Some of
Mhm.
them were police officers. Robert Williams, with only a group of maybe 5 men with guns. Robert Williams was a very well decorated combat veteran, held off a group of more than 100 Klansmen, a lot of them were cops. There's a long history of us doing
Oh
that.
yeah, I know. That's what
You
I
just don't
said.
hear
But
about it a lot
but
because
what I'm
again,
saying
the
is
dominant white
that
society doesn't like to talk about those stories. They only speak about them in terror. They don't speak about them in terms of us kicking the police's butt.
yeah, and then but that's what I'm saying is one thing about the police, they hate when we make them look stupid. That's why I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? If we got when they pull us over, we got all our credentials, even because okay, I'm gonna be honest. I have been a girlfriend of a, you know what I'm saying, a D boy when I was young, and I got pulled over in a car with pounds and, you know what I'm saying, lots and lots of stuff in the car. And I'm just like, we got out of it because how he acted. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he rolled down his windows, like his car was totally clean. He had his license, his registration, and insurance. Like I said, I think a lot of people do not. These police don't like to look stupid. But and then at the end of the day, if they gonna shoot any of us, they need to shoot us in our face and not in our back. That's
Oh,
why I'm
don't
just
don't
saying.
worry. That's why I
And
say
that's why
always
I'm
make
just
sure you
like,
wear
I
body
want us to
armor.
stop running. That's what I want us to stop doing is running.
No. Don't run.
Don't
Make
run.
sure that you pull out. You cock back the barrel. And make sure you chamber
But what if somebody don't
round,
have that?
and you point it
If we,
directly at the officer. And
what if
what if
people don't
someone doesn't
have
have
that?
that? Then go get one because anyone can
But what
get
if
a
they
legal
can't get one?
or illegal one. And I
Okay.
always wear body armor, as you can see.
Okay.
So whatever the cops are ready, please be my guest because I'm gonna get at
And
least one.
then okay, but then at the end of the day, if they do get you, hopefully you get killed after they do it. Because if they get you, they put you in they form of whatever justice they think you supposed to have. Because you know
Hmm.
they gonna do it.
They're gonna do. Hey, guess what? They were gonna do that either way with someone like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see how they, you,
So
can you show me
make
a
sure you
single
have a
law
side not
enforcement whistleblower?
a
Can you show?
kill.
Let me. Can I ask you a quick question? Did
Yes.
you know that my mother passed away back in March of last year?
No, I did not. I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you understand what they did to make sure I missed my mother's funeral? They took out a warrant for my arrest because I'm a law enforcement whistleblower for an offense that is so minuscule I can't be arrested in the state that I'm currently in.
They can't even come
So
get
when you
you.
So they took out an arrest for harassing a communications officer because I asked about a police corruption case in which a sheriff is covering up horrible things that's happening to children. They took out a
Mm.
felony warrant. I couldn't return home for my mother's funeral. So when you say things like, well, what did they do that? The only thing left is to kill me. Okay? There's nothing else for me to lose. Do you get that?
Yes, I do.
So, do you understand how I started my journey? I used to be a law enforcement officer out of South Carolina. See, hold on. My brother, who was a high school principal in South Carolina, he did horrible things to me as a kid. I told a Richland County Sheriff's deputy in South Carolina, and they did nothing. Absolutely nothing. That man is still sheriff to this very day, Leon Lott. And I grew up and went into law enforcement to try to become the hero that nobody else was for me. I got retaliated against when I started ratting out some of the bad officers. And the high school principal's name is Carlos Grant. My brother. A predator. Now, with that being said, do you understand that with that story, they denied my life story. They denied my trauma. They treated a multiple-time combat veteran rated at 100%, the highest that you can go for VA compensation. I am an all-American hero. I missed my mother's funeral. I can't even go back to the state to see my son. But I paid almost $1,200 a month for child support for one kid. And they did that intentionally to make sure that, try to make it so that I couldn't even pay it. That's the cost that I paid for trying to be the good officer. Do you think I care if a cop ends up in a casket? Do you think I care if they shoot me at this point? I don't care. In fact, you know what I hope that happens to every single cop and their families? Don't ask me, because I'll be honest.
Can I ask you a
I hope it
question?
all happens. In fact, I hope right now that all cops who are driving on the road simultaneously get into a wreck and don't make it out. Every last one of them. Even the canine cops.
Sir,
Even the dog catcher.
sir,
Even the administrative staff. Even the janitor.
can I
That's
ask you
how I
one
feel.
question?
Yeah. You just hear that whole life story. Do you
I did hear
understand
that whole life
that
story. I did hear that whole life story.
that is not just bad, right? That's on a level of bad that you haven't heard before, because I know you haven't heard before, because I've been told by people who are in the field, they haven't heard this kind of stuff before. That I have literally one of the worst police corruption stories that's in the whole country. I don't care about what happens to cops. I don't care about what happens to me. Because at this point, whatever they were going to do anyways. If you're going to make a man miss his funeral for his own mother and she can't get back, do you think that I don't suspect they're going to do something to me? Of course they are. But I'm telling you, if they try to, I'm going to yeet them and their entire families. And I've made sure of it.
Can I ask you
I
one
don't
question?
care about innocent bystander. I don't care. I don't
Can I
care.
ask you one question, please?
Yeah.
You told me you were talking about your son.
Mm-hmm.
He's still alive, correct?
Yep.
And you're not doing everything in your power to get back to him.
I'm trying to. What do you want me to do? Excuse me. I know you're not going to try to flip this.
No, I'm not.
If you're going to try, that's so disrespectful. You just heard the story.
I'm not trying to flip it.
There's news articles in Canada about what happened to me.
And I'm not saying, and I'm not disputing what happened to you. And I know as a black man, these things do happen to the black men in our community. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry that happened. And you know what I'm saying?
There's no but to that. I feel like you're gonna try to justify it. I feel like you're gonna try to like blame me for
it. It's no justification. I mean, I understand the way you feel. The way you feel.
No, you don't.
Want you to get back to your son.
Please don't say that you understand that.
I just want you to. I want you to just get back to your son, no matter what you gotta do.
It doesn't matter about getting back to my son. What matters is my work. It ain't about my son. It's about police officers who are trash, who've always been trash, and we've known it, who don't deserve to even have air. Them and their families, and anyone who thinks they're great, and their friends.
I do not
I don't
think that's
care who doesn't
right.
like it either. I could care less. You want to know why? Because police officers think the exact same thing about me, and you don't, and you didn't even know who I was until 10 minutes ago.
You're right.
So if you don't know my struggle, please don't judge. Or if you, or at the very least, Google my name. There's news articles about how bad they treated me. And there's some in Canada, some in Germany, some in Ireland, some in the UK. When it's in different languages, that's how you know it's bad.
A lot of them don't deserve it bad.
Yeah. So the one thing that I don't want is for agents to come on my freaking stream. I've had a chance to look up your IP address. What's funny about your IP address? I want you to tell me the truth. Announce to the audience, what do you think I saw about your IP address that is very unusual?
Well, I don't know. Because I don't even know what it look like.
I'm going to tell you something. When people contact me and they don't realize I can tell you contacting from a government source. Let me tell you something. I'm a baby. Sweetie, hey, do me a favor. This is my wife. Baby, you've seen my DD-214, right? A DD-214 is basically where my military service record, right? I was a 25 Bravo, an information technology specialist, meaning I did hacking. I could pick your IP address. I could tell who you are. I can find out your entire life story if you give me 30 minutes. Okay, this is what I do. So when you show up from IP addresses from actual sheriff's departments, cut it out. Cut it out. Do you see what she was doing? The techniques that she was using, that is hostage negotiation techniques. This is how I could tell. That's why I was reacting the way that I was reacting to her. I was like, she's trying to center my son in the conversation to change my mind. You see what she was doing? It was something that was so inappropriate that if you did it to somebody on the freaking streets, it would be gross. When I tell you I worked law enforcement, when I tell you I worked IT, when I tell you I can pick your IP address and I can tell who you are, I'm not capping. The same guy who found the entire state roster for an entire state and has the entire state law enforcement shook. You gonna try to pull some op stuff on that guy? Anybody listening to that woman can hear the freaking side out. Why do you want to be so revolutionary? What about those of us who aren't? Well, then stay on the freaking sidelines. Well, don't you care about your own safety? Well, do you know my life story? They don't care about mine. What about the poor police officers? Do I care? Do you see she was trying every tactic? If you actually listen to the tactics, she was trying every one of them. Every one of them. God, boy. That is fascinating, is it not? That is fascinating, is it not? Wow. Wow. But now you see where the energy is. She understands, right? She understands what I am and what I represent. Whoever sheriff's department, because I know the sheriff's department, because when I pull the IP address, you can kind of tell what something is law enforcement or freaking not, just by certain things. I'm not gonna reveal all my secrets, but I can tell. But the thing about it is, so the thing about it is that I was doing that in like the freaking background. Like when you see me, like, so a lot of times when people come on and they're real sus, you'll see me like sit down, right, and I'll just be typing. I'll just be typing like this right here, right? But I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing a lot of times. I'm gonna show you the kind of machine that I rock, and it lets you know I'm not just doing some simple gaming. Look at the size of that thing. That thing's brand new, baby. The processor in that is a beast. Woo! know how much that thing cost me, man? Good Lord. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm in the background, just pulling stuff, just looking. Yeah, that thing cost me. I didn't tell my wife. My wife would be very upset. Like fellas, you know how you buy something and you can't tell your wife how much it actually costs. It costs 10K. That thing costs 10K. So if I want to get information on you, man, if I want to process any kind of video, any kind of whatever I want to do for my computer needs, I got you. So yeah, man, I love these people who come on these lives who are actually law enforcement, who are informants, who are trying to dissipate the energy, because everything that I put out, even when it came to gun rights, right? Knows how she's trying to actually change that narrative too. Man. Yeah, boy. I think the one thing that this live proves is that people actually do consider me an underground leader, and I don't want to be. That's what I am. The position you find yourself in life is not the one you pick. It's the one that you're chosen for. So the 1312 and the ACAB movement, ACAB movement, they're more like the people who just do all the trolly stuff, all the memes. But the 1312 movement, like, we're a little bit different. We're the ones who, I'm just gonna stop there. But I want to let you all know that what happened to Tyree Nichols was a sad tragedy. This live went on a lot longer than I wanted to, but that doesn't matter. You know, we had a good conversation, and I want to end it here. But I want you guys to remember that it doesn't matter the color of the officer when the system is designed by white supremacists. Even back during slavery days, we had slave catchers and overseers who were black. And Tyree Nichols became a victim to skin folks who just were not kin folks. So that being said, guys, be safe out there. Horns up, peace out. Good night. ACAB Devil out.